today's webinar. It's part of our Webinar Wednesday series, and today is Pure IT is the presenter. Their senior M365 engineer, Michael Rhode, is going to share with us how innovative technology can boost your operations and increase efficiencies, all while staying secure and compliant. Pure IT has been a partner of ours for about the past 6 years, and we are happy to have them as part of our tool belt. And if anyone has any questions during the presentation, just because there's so many of you, if you could put something in the chat, we can stop Michael and get your questions answered. There'll also be a question and answer period at the end of the presentation. So Michael, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Rhode. I've been with Pure IT last couple years, and I've been in various IT size groups since the late 1900s, and so very happy to come and present to you all about Copilot and everything Microsoft is doing, as well as how we are seeing credit unions such as yourselves using and concerns that they've been finding. As most credit unions we've seen are adopting Copilot, they might get out a little bit out ahead of their skis, and they're going to worry about the security and governance afterwards, unfortunately. So really like to kind of start off talking about the Microsoft ecosystem a little bit, which everybody probably already is aware, and why that is one of the key differentiators with Copilot as well as other AIs, comparatively speaking. With everything rapidly changing and evolving, even our demos are where the buttons go, the naming and things like that can change. The big piece that we want to try to promote for Microsoft and see with them is that they will be right there at that forefront of that change and helping that evolve advanced AI capabilities, as well as the key parts of integration with their entire ecosystem. As you can see with in trends in the other places in society, security, governance are huge portions of what we're going to be concentrating on with credit unions. But most of all, I've seen most credit unions are just getting used to how they can take advantage of Copilot. Security does seem to be kind of secondary, but way Pure IT has been working is security and governance need to go hand in hand with those use cases. Involving other stakeholders, not just developers, your users, any other policymakers, and as well as ethical and legal is also key and paramount to working together in order to achieve some good goals with productivity, and as well as ways to enhance the product that you are delivering, whether that's through customer service, sales executives, or communicating just with your members. When it comes to Copilot, as well as even for Microsoft 365, secure foundation at the identity level is very much key. Part of that is the licensing that you would see inside of Microsoft 365. While this slide might not necessarily have your license in there, for example, those with business premium licensing, Microsoft Copilot, 365 Copilot is still available to you. These particular licenses, additions are able to be licensed a different way now. Early in March, Microsoft did offer this kind of the advanced E5 level of security as an add-on. So if you ever see or you're missing business premium, or you're missing your kind of license scheme that you're using, we can always discuss that and see what would be the best path for you. But part of that, once the identity entra, so your MFA, your identifying who those folks are that are in your organization, and being able to differentiate what they're supposed to have access to is really that core security piece that Microsoft is wanting to show, that as you add licensing, there is more and more features to get that granular control, reporting, retention, and discovery items that we'll kind of go over later. At the basis also of where your data is in 365 is really in SharePoint. And that's why you'll see that SharePoint Advanced Management. If you are looking for that kind of level of control at that SharePoint level, there are already certain pieces of the core, sensitivity labels, DLP, and certain other pieces that are already included. One of the items here is the endpoint management. So as you grow through your cloud journey, whether you're in business premium or you're a larger organization, having control of the desktop as well as identity is that foundational layer to control the data and the application and the experience that your users are going to have. So with Copilot obviously being the one of many pieces that you will see as their trusted AI assistant that seamlessly integrates with all your data across all of your devices. It harnesses the capabilities of those large language models such as GPT-4, Turbo, as well as your activity, Microsoft Graph, which is that API layer that you would see connecting into 365, and of course the suite of applications. There's also over 1,200 plugins from Adobe, SAP, and Workday, DocuSign, a number of other companies that are also integrating with Copilot as well. And at the basis is Microsoft comprehensive approach to 365 with their security, their governance, the compliance, and most importantly, privacy. And they layer that with their responsible AI, and that's their main goals. Probably the number one concern is obviously security and compliance, and that's where Microsoft really is able to shine. Already having that security and compliance at the application layer, but then as Copilot evolves, adding those features as they come along with governance compliance, so that if there were new features and new ways to connect Copilot into your data or into your work stream, they'll be adding some of those features as those come along. One of the other items on here is that you'll see is Copilot Studio, which is really that next level of not just integrating into Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Outlook and Teams, is where you're creating your own agents using some of your own data. We haven't seen any credit unions doing that yet, but there are plenty of opportunities for membership management and questions and concerns that come from your members, as well as ways for your customer service side to quickly find the answers to those questions and be able to go through some of that detail without having it all in their mind, or just having that at hand very quickly. And I've already kind of talked about a little bit of their key differentiations inside of their own ecosystem. they were the first ones to really come out with that integrated, and they are constantly adding all of these features security wise and ability to integrate with all of their other applications so much quicker than other companies of their size. Leveraging that productivity, leveraging your current spend, your license, whether it's business premium, E3, E5, is another major differentiator. While Copilot is an extra license, it does help really taking advantage of all of your other applications a lot easier, and it can be extended much easier as well, like we were talking about with the Copilot Studio. And finally, impact and return on investment is sometimes not talked about enough, especially for people like project managers or non-financial people that are really getting a lot of that data in, or they might not understand certain pieces of meetings or emails or any other type of communication. Copilot can really come in and help kind of go through that muck a little bit of acronyms and those type of items, and see where that really fits inside of a meeting, something that they can kind of go back to and see where that was used and what kind of context that's in. And so, like I say, we are working towards that Copilot dashboard to really show that delivery of that return on investment, that engagement, what they're searching for, how we can help them more, and enable those users to, and not just your users, but as your members would be using Copilot in interacting with your organization and finding better ways to communicate and strengthening those relationships and establishing more trust. So most folks that have heard about Copilot, and they may have turned on Copilot, but they haven't really gone to that next step in using Copilot if inside of those organizations. I've seen it with Pure IT that we have it turned on, but they're really not quite sure what to do. While definitely talk about security and governance, but you do have to have a little bit of buy-in on the capabilities of what Copilot can do. This here is just really 10 slides that are very quick and easy ways of using Copilot if you already have that. Really a lot of the words that you'll see in here is help, summarize, and items like that. I strongly encourage you to go to the prompts site that is at the bottom link there, and you'll see that 10 is a good start, but that site has a lot more that you can take advantage of. First one that I've seen with credit unions, and I kind of touched upon it earlier, was meeting recaps. Being able to recap a meeting for future reference when you have a diverse group of folks that are in that meeting can be extremely helpful. Attention does wander and things do get missed. Copilot is there to really help keep track of those important discussions and decisions, and making it easy to follow up and most of all stay organized. My project manager, she has changed her life being able to recap meetings, and normally I can barely keep her awake with all the acronyms and technobabble that will eventually come out of tech folks. So she's just a much happier person now that she doesn't have to ask me what DKIM stands for or DMARC. She just knows that it's an acronym and this is where it belongs in the conversation. And not just executive side, not just project management. You have focuses on being able to enable HR and marketing folks. For HR on that side is creating job descriptions. I've done that for folks that are in credit unions and outside of credit unions and small governments, of being able to find the right words is the first goal of how to have that job description, but then the format, whether it's in a Word or a PowerPoint, or you're having to present the for a job to get a full-time employee for a particular item, Copilot can really come in and help you put those markers in where you, other than just saying, I need this person, or I need this skill set. It can really help across, on the budget side, as well as presentation and job description writing side. On the marketing side, creating campaigns, those, anything from image manipulation in the app called Clipchamp that Microsoft has for creating those funny AI images where, your beard looks really cool in the wind, and those type of items. But that unique and compelling ideas can be generated, so it can really capture that audience's attention and drive a lot of that growth. And for branch operations, we've seen that Copilot really helps in with those Outlook, those help me writes, those summarizing a large email thread is another fantastic one. Chat threads as well, and being able to help that user or help that person make some better decisions in a quicker amount of time without really clouding their judgment with memes that are caught in chat or anything like that. It can really kind of help you go through those items. I would say my favorite one is number 9. I think that should actually be second or third on the list. For those of you that are dealing with Excel, anything that does with VLOOKUPs or XLOOKUPs, cross-lookups, or being able to say, please take this column and help me get the data that I want to match up, or it's unmatched. And being able to have that conversation with Copilot is extremely helpful in not only saving time, but getting that data right. Also with Copilot, being able to track a lot of these changes while you're having that chat, where you were at, kind of going back up to it, as well as having the ability to denote in that chat where that detail came from. Any questions so far? All right, well, before I start through some of these demos, and probably do maybe 2 or 3, I was wondering if there were any requests on one of these demos more than others. Please put those in the chat. And measurable impact. There seems to be a difference between Viva Insights and something else that requires more diagnostic scent. I can see Viva Insights, not the other. So Viva and say Viva Engage and the new version of Yammer and things like that. I would have to see kind of what you're looking at compared to what you would see inside of Copilot. Copilot's really going to be more, tracking what the users are putting in, what data they are accessing, and items like that. I hope that answers your question, Bruce. I know we're going to be working together a little bit more later, so we'll put that on our note for later. But let's see here. I'm gonna have to stop sharing here, and we'll go. I'll start with the Teams demo, more along the lines with the Teams chat. We'll start that one first. That's the one that I say we've seen more traction with users being able to really get through a lot of that extra data that they might see on a daily basis. So Let's see here. All right. All right, looks like everybody can see that. All right, so what in this particular demo, you're looking at that. You're not may not know that Teams can summarize your chats, your group chats that you would normally see on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure if by a show of hands, I'm sure everybody has been involved in a particular group chat and you were on vacation and you come back and you're like, what the heck is going on? So this one is much shorter, but it kind of gives you that idea of, there's quotes, there's replies, there's, you're quoting stuff from much higher on the left and other chats and images. And so what we'll do here is what you would normally do is just engage Copilot, and you'll be able to use this particular chat thread as that source content for those responses. And it won't reference any other chats or any other transcripts or emails unless you ask for that. But so what we'll do here is highlights from the past day. So it even gives you that smaller window in case you have a chat thread that's been going for days and days. And then what we'll do is we'll ask a question about this particular chat. And as they're looking for a status just on that RFP. And once you get that sent, and it'll give some questions that the user would want to ask. And in this case, the user's name is Lee. And you'll notice here that all of these reference points are interacting when you are using Copilot on your own, and it will reference that exact area. Then you can add some more prompts. And, so what's left? What are the open items as an example? And the clickable citations, like we were talking about before, will take you to that correct source content and keep you up to speed and a lot more organized. The user can then kind of document and socialize the action items to keep the preparation process, in this case, moving forward. And then we will show that the user can then begin that kind of feedback. But there's always that one extra time where you could use Copilot. So once you start that new chat and you kind of put your thoughts down, you can then engage Copilot and have that rewrite those particular items. And you can also see this in Outlook and Word. And probably the number one power I've seen when it comes to rewriting inside of Copilot is being able to, add those words, make it longer. And maybe that's, maybe this one isn't quite right. Maybe needed a bit more enthusiastic, or you might want to make it shorter, more concise. Once you're satisfied with those particular entries, you can replace, and then before you do send it, you can edit it there again. So just real quick of a real easy way for, like say in Teams to do a option like that. And let's see, we'll go over to a different demo of, let's go over to PowerPoint. That one, we see a lot of, I've seen small government my father-in-law is a building inspector for a small city, and they needed a technical person, and being able to not only write the job description, but then present something like that, like I was saying before, was extremely powerful, and he was able to really deliver that message, having really no idea of what the most appropriate way was to present something like that. So, and if anybody's old enough to remember Harvard graphics, you've known that slide presentations, presenting to larger groups has changed and evolved greatly. And I would say Copilot has been a powerful tool in being able to just take the data that you might already have, take some of those marketing and layouts, and make that a much quicker to present type of a situation. That should be it. So once you're in PowerPoint, like I said, any of the other options that you have for Microsoft apps, Copilot will be part of that. And you do just click on a blank presentation like this, and we can, let's go to view some of these prompts. Oop, there we go. Let's try to do that again. And we'll do prompts, and then we will create a presentation from a file. So, and this is kind of where security and governance will come into play, is those are the files that you would be able to lock down at the SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams levels, Word and Excel as well. But being able to grab that Word document that you had already done in a proposal, and or let's say a job description, you can reference that particular file, and Copilot will bring that data in, and then begin to really craft a lot. It's quite surprising if you haven't done that, of how much easier PowerPoint is now on just creating those slides, backgrounds. You're not really starting from scratch like you used to. Building, Copilot can generate that outline, building the content from that proposal document. Copilot will also bring in notes on each of the slides, images, and really kind of set you up for success. Then we can view prompts, and then you can ask Copilot of, give me some examples from the presentation on how I can improve it for leadership, or a pitch presentation, or whichever group that you're focused on. And then you'll see that Copilot will provide a lot of that best practices, improving the visuals, simplifying items. This user here is really trying to make sure that the brand is represented well, and the visual content is correct. The user here, not really happy with their design skills, just wants to make sure that there's a bit more that, don't want to miss anything. And then this will be a slide about page for this particular entity. I've done this for PRIT as well. I would highly recommend you use that for your business. If you do have a chance to use Copilot, really kind of shows what AI is pulling off of your marketing materials that are out there on the web, and being able to quickly talk about the elevator pitch, basically, of your brand, of your credit union as well. So highly recommend to try that as on your own. And here we're going to edit. And the user is really trying to find that image that's adds a person riding a bike through the city, as this is for a bicycle company. So I would imagine there would be some dollar signs as well as maybe some bank buildings if your credit union chooses. So this was able to help this user to create this RFP proposal that kind of was referenced in the other demo. Really shows you how quickly and easily, if you don't think PowerPoint is this quick and easy with Copilot, I do highly recommend to try it for yourself, because it does kind of shakes your, oh, I don't have to put backgrounds on every other one. I don't need to figure out how to move this text that right way. This has all of the alignments ready to go, and is probably something that might take 2 weeks to really start from scratch, and you really can do it within minutes compared to the days of yore.
So Michael, we do have a question in the chat.
Missed it.
Do the results from the prompt automatically add it to the presentation, or do you control that?
You can control that. So, and that's at that prompting level. If you want to, or undo it and start with a different prompt, you can also, in those prompts, ask it to do the same as above, except whichever modifier you're looking for. And that's really why you'll see out in the world that prompting is that new skill. Just as much as Google search used to be that bigger skill that changed the world 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. Really being able to write those prompts and interpret that information, as well as how to modify and change that information. And then another question that you had before was about survey data. Copilot will take the data that you give that. So if it is in Excel and you're, as for example, financial kind of data, you can use Copilot to analyze scenarios. If those results are in Word, saving it as in this particular demo, it was just a proposal. Being able to interpret that data and then add that into PowerPoint directly from that data is really where a lot of that Copilot power comes from. Combining PowerPoint, just items, slide items, as well as Copilot being able to help you change the tone of some of the line items, maybe make it shorter or longer. And if you really want to have some fun, you can have it put it in a wrap if you want. So if you, one of the items that we've used wasn't survey data, but it was rules and policies and procedures. You could have a humorous look at your own policies and procedures by getting it to summarize it in how Eminem would say it, or somebody else like that. One of my coworkers also has been using it. CISO Steve, if you don't know him, we'll talk about him later as well. He's been using Copilot enough to where it's actually been able to alter his communications in his own voice. It knows enough about how he delivers that information in order to help him continue on that path and stay consistent with the message across clients and projects. So Amy, we'll kind of talk about that, the sensitive data, and the kind of the meat and potatoes of this particular item or topic. Governance and security Yes, everything is really neat and cool, but once the next item we really do need to talk about is that the ethics, the governance, the security of that data. And I know that's what everybody is mostly concerned about. So let's go back over to our presentation.
And Michael, before you move on, there's one more.
Sure.
They said, did I hear that it pulls from marketing info from the web? Can it use internal sources as well, like a file share and the like?
Yes. So in the demo you saw where it actually brings up that Word document, that's what it would look like. You would access that file in that prompt when you pick those files, and that's why this next piece is really of most concern for folks. So yes, so it's not just public, but it can be your internal data. While Microsoft is never going to share your data with others, anything that's on the web, obviously, they're going to be able to take that information from that. So probably the most crucial piece is understanding the significance of governance and safety. As AI becomes more integrated in everything we do, really have to add those safeguards. Copilot is built with that comprehensive approach with 365 as that strong foundation. And then I talked about responsible AI, and that's really where they're leaning on that to govern their decisions as well as evolving the product. The common concern, as we can already see, is whether Copilot will gives users access to content that they previously didn't have access to. No. Copilot honors your existing permissions and policies for data access. Your data is your data. The key to that, of course, is making sure which data, who has those permissions, and being able to govern your data. Obviously, not everybody's governance program is in perfect order. I would say it's even worse in other commercial entities, and manufacturing and some companies like that I've seen in the past. They don't have policies like that. Whereas I've seen credit unions have a much better handle on where that data is and how it's handled. Probably the number one item, and I keep saying number one on things, so forgive me, but you're wanting to control what Copilot can see. Restricting SharePoint is a big key of that. Being able to kind of turn off, you don't have to move your data into this dark area to where, Copilot isn't going to see it. You can tell Copilot to, let's not search that, or this type of item can be excluded, this kind, and you'll see with Purview, a lot of those policies can be established there. Purview does a really good job. They're adding features all the time, and hopefully they won't change the name of it anytime soon.
Hey, Michael, just FYI,
sure.
Do you want to throw the slide up? We can't see it right now.
Oh, yeah.
It might help.
It may. It was a boring slide anyway, so don't.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's just kind of wanted to kind of talk about it. So we were talking about those items. So along the lines of privacy, Microsoft does encrypt all of this data, and they don't use your data to train models that are used by Copilot. Your data is your data. A lot of the times, not so much for credit unions here in the United States, but those in the EU have a bit more restrictions of where that data is and how it's saved. So Microsoft gets good practice there. So we here in America can definitely take advantage of that. And And then last but not least, on the privacy side, Microsoft does provide commercial data protection for web-grounded prompts that pull in the latest data from the web to provide that better informed responses. Commercial data protection means that they don't have that eyes on that access. We don't save the prompts, and they don't use that data to train their model. Models are trained other ways. So the issue with that, with training a model on another model, is it's kind of like a copy of a copy, and you can get less than desirable results if you're not careful. And from the Pure IT team if you aren't familiar with CISO Steve or our vCISO program, highly recommend to reach out. And at that credit union level, the processing level, where I'm a bit more of an implementation engineer, at that chief information security officer level, these were some of the thoughts and items that Steve wanted to pass along. While Copilot has definitely a number of built-in protections to ensure safe and ethical use of AI, users are encouraged to experiment with AI, but it's important to support that innovation while maintaining control over that data. Licensing AI technology and bringing it inside the organization helps maintain data governance. Solutions like Copilot are designed to operate within your tenant, ensuring that data privacy and security. Proper account security measures are essential to prevent unauthorized access, which is what, if you have not met Steve, he loves to scare folks with how quick he can get access either into your building, onto your data, or into your Porsche. As an engineer, I would say my number one goal is for enabling those users, as well as Steve is, about supporting that innovation and letting them explore, but really making sure that those folks can operate inside the right elements and the right sandbox that you're creating for those folks. So managing safeguards, and then most importantly, ethical, making sure that you are staying above board and making sure that the AI isn't thinking for you. I don't know if you have anybody in marketing that does graphics artistry. Yeah, everybody loved AI, the thought of AI, but for graphics artists, that was a real turning point for them because, oh, somebody could just take my job. That's not really what the situation is with AI. This is a tool, and just like any other tool in the shed, it has the right tool for the right job, and making sure that the tool stays clean and usable and reusable, or it would be a horrible tool. And this is really kind of the last slide. Really wanted to talk about Purview and where Purview fits in at that governance level. These are the 7 items that Purview concentrates on. I kind of put this in 2-3 different little categories. With the data security posture management, that's those one-click policies that Purview has to really get you started on protecting your data, having the insights of what Copilot is doing inside of your organization. And then the next 4, insider risk management, sensitivity, and retention and communication policies. You're looking to put those tripwires in. At the insider risk, making sure there's no exfiltration of your data for other means. It's also a comprehensive look if you are working on DLP and some of these other insider risk management options that Purview has, and how that experience for the user works, and making sure that they aren't just giving away the farm. sensitivity labeling, that's that automatic labeling of your data, of being able to, how many social security numbers are in it? Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it belong in this kind of a label? Is it pay data inside of HR? That's handled differently, and then it goes into that label. When you set your posture up correctly, those sensitivity labels really come in key. And then, you have, how long do you keep that data at that retention level, as well as the communication policies that you would have for any type of other regulatory or internal business compliance that you might have. If there's a key differentiator in your area for loan servicing or maybe real estate. And so then really lastly on the is the legal keys for me, is we can put all of everything together correctly above and everything else that we've talked with before, and but auditing, being able to go back and have that interpretation of that data, looking at those records, those interactions, what's happened, and not only for security purposes or governance purposes, but for usability purposes. And then of course, e-discovery. Everybody loves the E word, and what does that mean? And if you are presented with an e-discovery, the tools exist inside of Purview to be able to track down that process and those communications, as well as any chats, any of that content, so that not only can you apply it to that e-discovery, but then preserve that content as well as export it if needed for further analysis. So really, that's it's really the key on the governance side is interacting with Purview and setting those items up. And definitely inside of the credit unions that we were seeing, this is key. This is really where they're at. They've done the PowerPoint presentations. They've done the integration. They've created wonderful emails. But now, where's our data, and who's using it, and how are they using it? And that's where PRIT can come in and not only help with on the CISO side, but on the engineering side to make sure that you have all those right settings, you're asking the right questions, as well as having the infrastructure in place to act and react to whether it's security incidences or a usability issue. And I think we have enough time for any more questions. If you would like to contact Steve, or if you are more interested in talking more about how Purview can help you in your current situation in Copilot, or if you're looking to really start down that journey with Copilot and help enable some of your executives or members or any type of those items, please contact our sales department. You can also learn more about PRIT. And if you have Copilot, you can ask Copilot to ask more about PRIT as well. Julie wanted to let everybody know that we will have a booth over at the Accelerate conference, and I believe that happens in just a few weeks. And I believe Todd Hastings, one of our sales guys, Todd Hastings, will be there. And
yes,
if there
we'll
are
be at Accelerate, we're excited to be there. We'll also be joining Apex this year as well in October. So looking forward to connecting with some of you guys in person as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael, for your presentation and insight today. If anyone has any questions, I'll leave the chat open for a few minutes, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask directly to Michael, whatever you're more comfortable with. Again, I just want to thank PRIT for being a partner with us for the past 6 years. As I said, they will be with us at CU Accelerate happening May 9th through the 11th. Apex, which is one of our marquee conferences that we host jointly with Connecticut. will be October 15th through the 17th. More information on both of those events can be found at our website at ccua.org. So I thank everyone for your time this morning and joining us. And with that, I'm going to wrap up today's meeting. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.